announcing this interview ahead of time, I announced that I was going to be doing an interview on the uses of intuition in psychotherapy, but I did not foreshadow that we would be talking about the paranormal. And certainly that spelling of magic kind of says that loud and clear.
Yes.
And so, one of the fascinating things about you is that you were a psychic before you became a licensed clinical social worker.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally understand why you speak to that in the book, that you were looking for legitimacy, that you wanted to be taken seriously by the world.
Yes, and by the clinical community, particularly.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though you weren't a therapist yet at that point, you still had that intention and ambition. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To counsel. The counseling was always a part of my psychic work. I am not a typical psychic in the sense of I'm not telling fortunes, although hopefully people will feel fortunate to have a reading.
Yeah.
But, always with the sense of giving something useful that a person could use in life.
Yeah.
Was part of my psychic work even before my therapy work.
What drew you into the realm of becoming a practicing psychic? Did you have a sense early in life that you had particular intuitive powers or experiences?
I did early in my life. I felt I had a gift. I didn't use that word, though I think we all have the gift, whether we develop it as I did or in some other way.
Yeah.
But the moment came, particularly the impetus, when my then brother-in-law, his name was David Waltz, and David was a brilliant scientist and helped develop the science behind the internet. And David and my sister-in-law, Bonnie, took a course with a psychic. And it was then called the Silva Mind Control.
I've certainly heard of that, yeah.
Now I think it's called the Silva Method. The woman who taught it, I mentioned her in the book, Ramona Garcia. I don't go into this much in the book, but she was an amazing psychic, no longer on the planet, unfortunately. But anyway, David proceeded on one dinner Saturday night to do a psychic reading in my living room. And I thought, this is unbelievable. I want what you've got. I think I've got it, but I want to develop it. And that led me to take the course with Ramona, other Silva courses, and then other people along the way helped me to encourage my natural ability to enter into that, what I call the psychic dimension of mind.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning.
And had you had any experiences prior to that as a child that stand out? Often people do have experiences in childhood that they suppress because they pick up that the culture at large isn't going to honor that.
That's such a good question. I had experiences, and they were not so much in terms of recognizing something specific that would happen, but I had a deeper sense of my environment. And it's a little bit hard to explain because some of it did not have the words at the time. It was more a felt impression of something going on around me, almost as if I knew people, I knew about them, but I wouldn't have been able to say it in words at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
okay.
when I was a young girl, 14, 15 years old, I can remember a moment when I knew I would have 2 daughters. It was just, I knew. And I knew from the time forever, they're children from my first marriage. I never picked a boy's name. And it was before we knew what gender the kids were. It was just, I'm having daughters.
Right.
That's probably the most specific I can get.
Yeah,
other than the
kind of a specific knowing.